So, today I'm going to talk to you about why singers should be playing Dungeons and Dragons. One of the key skills that you need as a singer is to be able to act. The most obvious reason why you might want to learn to work on your acting through something as accessible as Dungeons and Dragons Online would be if you're an opera singer or you're in musical theater. But even outside of those genres, say pop or even metal and jazz, being able to think on your feet, being able to improv, being able to take a story in a song and really play that character, that happens for every kind of artist. And so it's really important that you work on your acting. Yeah, that's cool, bruh, but you're just a dude with a bad green screen in an office chair on YouTube. Why should I listen to you, bruh? Because I'm here to tell you that there are things that you can do that are really, really easy, that'll help you engage your audience better, help you grow your audience better, help you with your stagecraft and your artistic performances. Does that not appeal to you? But bruh, D&D is for nerds. Bruh. I'm not sure, bro, my dude. Anyway, one of the reasons I recommend Dungeons and Dragons is that there's a little bit more creative freedom in doing your character work, and it's a lot more time effective. Right now, you can go onto roll20.net, find a group of players, and create a backstory for a character that might fit something that you want to try out in your frontman. Maybe you want to make a bard, and hey, that bard character might even be something that you can bring to a Renaissance gig. Money's money. A gig is a gig, and Roll20 and D&D can prepare you for those opportunities, and it's fun. Okay, so those are the whys, but how? How do you develop a character? How do you do any of this? Well, it just so happens that I have a couple examples from my own D&D campaign. Well, not mine, but one I'm participating in. Because, if you haven't noticed, I'm a giant nerd. One of the things I had the opportunity to do recently was work on a character that was creating a little bit of a problem. I made this character specifically to be what I thought would be interesting. Oh boy, that's not what happened. I had the goal of creating this interesting character only to realize that characters are interesting in context. People are interesting in context. No singular individual is that interesting. So anyway, this character wasn't fitting well in the ensemble. It was too goofy. There was another character that was also really goofy, just like this bad green screen chroma key job. But anyway, I spent the morning prior to the activity kind of rewriting this character to have a little bit of a mood change. And all I'm doing here is I'm speaking into my phone in the character's voice and making decisions that way as I just basically pontificate and use my imagination. Imagination. Shun. In case you're wondering what this shot is, on the left is me judging myself on the right, because that's how I feel right now. One of the things to take away from this is that play is important. I'm over here making fun of myself and trying to have a good time talking about some sort of really brightly orange-colored elf. But if you really think about it, that's no real different from lyrics. I mean, how many absurd lyrics are we always tasked to sing? And we have to make sense of those things, right? And so to make this character work, I really had to justify it, which is why I spent the morning prior to the session writing about this character. It really is in the details. I just said, the character had a mood thing. I'm trying to cover my work shirt, and it is not happening. And it's also hot as heck in here. But anyway, it really is in the details. For me, it's hard to talk about a mood swingy character because I personally struggle with a lot of ups and downs, and I won't get too deep into it. It's not really necessary. But for the purposes of this character, I really felt in order to justify this, I had to talk about the background, where the relationship with the character had with their mother. I had to go into how they react to weather and do all of that. One of the things that I ended up doing was, as you'll see in this part right here, is I ended up putting in a lot of pictures, and I don't know if you can read this, but I also talked a little bit about how cold the weather was. And there's a reason behind this. Part of being specific is addressing the senses: taste, smell, touch, feelings, you know? It's really big. It goes a long way in adding depth into your character. It's also important to note that I don't do this in one sitting, okay? I do this over multiple sittings. You know, the first one might be to create an outline of what happened that made me feel X way about Y thing. And it's after I create that outline that I then fill out everything else. More pictures, more details, more of my inner dialogue, which is the conversation that I have with myself. It's a normal thing, I swear. Just throwing it out there, I think there's a reason why actors usually are a little crazy. No offense. That is something that is really important to recognize. Not the, you know, actors being crazy thing, but the work is never done. That you can take many sittings to outline more and more detail. A great example of that would be Tolkien's books from Lord of the Rings. Another great example would be the Wheel of Time series. As a matter of fact, any novel that goes into great detail about its world and its characters are a great example of how to flesh out a character. And not just for D&D, by the way, I mean any character. If you're still lost on this process, that's okay, because there's a great, fantastic book that I have to recommend. And that book is called Uta Hagen's Respect for Acting. Acting is an essential part of being a good singer. And just like singing, acting is a discipline. It takes work, it takes time, it takes dedication, it takes practice. And Uta Hagen's book, you can probably find for cheap, because most people when they graduate realize that acting is not a great career path, and that it does take all those things like work and practice and time and consistency. So you could probably get it for super cheap, used. I don't have an affiliate link, maybe I should start with those, but anyway. I'm gonna get a little real with y'all, because I think it's important to say. During times like these, it is really hard to put in work. Even if you love the discipline of singing, even if you love the discipline of acting, it is incredibly difficult to justify putting in something that's going to take in even more of your mental time and mental energy. It's hard. It is. But you should never forget to have fun. I think that that's what's kept me as a singer, despite, you know, all the hardships and all the difficulties that come with being an artist. It ain't cool at a certain age to be broke. And most artists are going to be financially strapped. Dungeons and Dragons is a wonderful opportunity to work on an essential skill in singing, which is acting, and also have a fun time. How often do you get to have fun anymore? Practicing should be fun. It should be a hoot, because you certainly aren't going to be doing this for the money. And if you think that you're going to get paid to do all of this, or at least reliably and decently, oh boy, spoiler alert, it ain't happening. And even if it does happen, wouldn't you rather have fun doing it? I know so many people who are in improv troupes, who have been part of Renaissance fairs. These are professional singers, and it keeps their acting chops fresh, and some of them even get paid to do it. It's a really great idea. So get to work and have fun. Wish I could type that fast in real life. It'd be fun. That was supposed to be my typing sounds. Have a great time. Until next time, everybody. Don't like bell notifications.